Smash those likes. Let's get it. Here we go. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, and we're back for another live stream today on August 21st, guys. Let's smash those likes, hit that subscribe, and let's get ready to rock and roll here. Lots of things are happening in the market. Very nice trends are forming for Bitcoin and altcoins alike. So get ready, guys. We're going to be covering a lot of different altcoins here in this live. So make sure you guys are smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe, and just start dropping your chats, start dropping your alts into the chat room, guys. Start dropping it into the chat, and I'll try to cover as many questions as I possibly can here for all of you guys. So good to see every single one of you. And here we go. First up, we got a good old bitty itty, right? Bitcoin has been following the session trading downtrend exactly almost to the T today. We had a nice little fake out breakout today coming up to the London high. Tapped it and instantly came all the way back down, continued to drop. We were just hanging around this previous day low multiple times, came down to the August low, not exactly to the August low, but right before the previous all-time high at 112, bounced off of that, and we're still within this downtrend as of today, right? So I expect this downtrend to continue. We continue to make lower highs if we look out on the 4-hour for Bitcoin and many altcoins alike. Let me quickly adjust this here real quick. Let me get rid of some of these regression trends so that it is more visible, easier to see. Here we go. So overall, still making lower highs here. Let me turn off these indicators. Come on. Here we go. Still making lower highs. We made the high from back in August 14th at 125. Made lower highs here on the 17th. Made another lower high on the 18th. Made another lower high once again today on the 21st up at 114, and now we're back down to 112. And guess what, guys? I expect tomorrow to play out the exact same way. Tomorrow is the big Jerome Powell speech at Jackson Hole. I expect us to push up in anticipation, and then I expect us to drop down potentially between this August low to this daily MPOC down at 111, 178. And if that area doesn't hold, then we're looking for a downward push to 108, potentially 105 later this month, potentially into September. So definitely get ready and, brace yourself if we start losing these areas right here. So definitely keep an eye on it because it is on the cards, my friends. It is on the cards. So appreciate everybody jumping in here. Let's go take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum has done something very similar today as well. Here on the 15-minute chart, has been following this downtrend that was created by the Asia and London trading sessions. Exactly. Just fake out, breakout. When Bitcoin broke out, it had the fake out to the upside, swept the London high. And guess what? We came crashing down this trend all the way to the Monday low, been hanging out around this Monday low pretty much all the rest of the day. We are currently below the weekly VWAP as well as the daily VWAP. And now we are continuing this downtrend. Targets to the downside remain the same. We are still within the previous day range. Target down here is the daily MPOC at 41.79, where we also have a local gold pocket. Below that, we have the previous week low of 41.64. And then we've got the monthly VWAP around 41.30 before potentially rocking and rolling and retesting this $4,000 price point down here around 420. Where it is the 4020, where is basically that was where the big breakout happened for Ethereum that allowed Ethereum to run up to as high as 4,800. So let me jump here into the chat, start looking into the chat here, see how everybody's doing. Appreciate everybody in here. Hope you guys are all smashing those likes. And let me just quickly give a little overlook at what is happening here in the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Make sure you guys are continuing to smash those likes, guys. What it do, man? Good to see all of you guys in here, guys. Make sure you are tapping those likes. The more people come in here, the better the show, the more questions, the more you guys learn. So make sure you guys are, wherever you are right now, you are tapping that screen. You are hitting that like button. You're hitting the subscribe if you're not subscribed. There's a lot of people that watch this channel that are not subscribed. It's wild. It's like 60% of you guys watching are not subscribing. Stop being lurkers, guys. It's weird. Just smash those likes and hit that subscribe. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling here with the list. Let me turn on over here. Let's go take a look at XRP. XRP here on the daily. Why is this stuff still on? All right. Let me turn this off. All right, so very simple here. Once again, XRP still making lower highs. Obviously, wherever Bitcoin goes, the altcoins will follow. Next big target to the downside for XRP is this value area low of July, down at 267. Below that, we got 252, a local gold pocket, and the yearly VWAP as well. Below that, we have the quarterly average of 242, which was massive resistance for a very long time. We have a larger scale, a larger time frame gold pocket down at 233 from the April lows to the July highs, right? So we have a gold pocket down at 233. Below that, we have the support that's been holding up XRP all of 2025 between $1.95 to $2.10 to the downside. Hopefully that continues to hold and we do not drop below that, because if XRP loses, guys, if XRP loses the $2 mark, right, buckle up, because we got tons of targets between 171 all the way down to 77 to 62 cents, even as low as 37 cents, right? Not saying we're going to go down to 37 cents anytime soon, but I'm just saying at some point in time when the bear market kicks in, which I'm not saying the bear market is here right now, but at one point or another, we are going to be dropping. And there's definitely a lot of targets on the way down for good old XRP. So I don't think XRP is just going to hang out here forever and never and be immune to pullbacks, because that's not the way it works, my friends. That is not the way it works. Hey, Crusader Seller Network chart, please. I don't even know if I have a chart for that. I've never heard of that project, but I'll try to push it in here. Let's go take a look at AVAX. AVAX, very similar chart here to the rest of XRP and the other altcoins. Right, we made a high in July. We're making a lower high now in August. If we lose $22.24, our next target to the downside is between the value area low of July, which is around 21.11, to 1973, which is a gold pocket to the downside as well. Anything lower than that, we will be dropping back into the previous 2-month range between May and June downtrend, which could take us, to the lows of April, back around $17 to $15. So watch out for that for AVAX. Chainlink here coming up next. Chainlink as well. Critical levels here for Chainlink, right? Chainlink overall is still holding its uptrend, guys. Still holding its uptrend here. So make sure you're smashing those likes, because Chainlink right now has broken into its previous month uptrend back in August 8th, and we are still holding. Even if we drop down to $23, we are still within the uptrend. We can come down to as low as $22.48 for a quick wick during a day downtrend and bounce off this monthly VWAP and push back up into this uptrend and continue climbing up here, right? Targets to the upside for Chainlink are between $29.78 to as high as $52.27. Basically, the all-time high is 53. So we got tons of targets to the upside, a very wide range of targets to the upside for Chainlink. But if Chainlink loses 22.43, 22.56, which is the monthly VWAP, next big target to the downside is around the $19 to $20 mark. Below that, we're looking at $18 to $16 for Chainlink to the downside. So definitely keep an eye on that for Chainlink if we start seeing Chainlink slipping below the monthly VWAP here. Let me do a quick little recap here on Bitcoin. Make sure I am not missing anything. Bitcoin having a nice little push to the upside. Where would you buy? Where would I buy what? Let me jump into the chat here real quick, start answering some questions. What would happen to the market if tomorrow Jerome Powell doesn't mention his opinion on the rate cuts? He is not going to say whether there will or will not be a rate cut in September. That's not what the meeting for tomorrow is. The meeting for tomorrow is just to bring some more panic and fear into the market. I can tell you that. But guys, we only have 500 likes. Make sure we are getting at least 1,000 likes, guys. Let's get 1,000 likes here. Come on, we got plenty of people watching. Tap those screens. Let's get some likes rocking and rolling. So the Jerome Powell meeting tomorrow, right, is just going to be talking about his stance on the market. And they already released the Fed minutes. They were mentioning multiple times how they are hyper-focused on the fears of inflation continuing to rise and that they're not really focused on the labor market. We're probably going to get some bad labor market data in September, right? And they're really not going to go based off of that, even though probably maybe they should. Who knows? A lot of people, I know we're all waiting for an interest rate cut. I know the bias is that we all want an interest rate cut so that we can spark the big push to the upside. I believe last September they had an interest rate cut, and that was the last time they cut interest rates. They haven't cut interest rates since then. So everyone's like in anticipation that they will have an interest rate cut in September. Maybe they do, right? Maybe it's the good old switcheroo. They put a lot of fear into the market that there won't be an interest rate cut. There won't be an interest rate cut. And then guess what? Surprise, interest rate cut, right? That's on the table. That's a possibility, guys. Don't ever count anybody out. Don't ever count out. Don't think anything is not possible. That's definitely possible. Now, the likelihood, right? The odds are that they're pretty much indicating through the Fed minutes and with what they're going to say tomorrow in the meeting, their potential big move is probably not to cut interest rates, right? They're going to start to like acclimate the markets of like, hey, there will not be an interest rate cut. Now, if they do the good old bait and switch at the end at the last minute in September, we will see. But I'm pretty sure they're going to try to set the tempo of, hey, no interest rate cut is coming in September. Don't expect it, without saying it, right? That's the whole thing. Where would you add more Chainlink? Okay, that's what that question was. Where would you add more Chainlink? So looking at the Chainlink chart here, I personally, right, am planning on selling all my altcoins by the end of this year, potentially Q1 of 2026. I do not plan on holding anything for the long term. Whoa, just kazoo tight. Here we go. That was a big one. So I don't plan on holding anything long term. I know some people are like, I'm gonna hold Chainlink forever. It's gonna go to $100. Maybe it does. I don't plan on holding my altcoins into the next bear market. So if Chainlink reaches $50, I'm selling my Chainlink, right? I'm selling my Chainlink hard around $50. I've been holding Chainlink and buying Chainlink for years at $15 and less. So if we get a $50, I'm selling, dude. I'm out. Now, right, everyone's goals are different. If I were to personally be buying Chainlink again, I would want to see Chainlink at $15 or less. That's me personally, because I was buying Chainlink back in April, back in March, right, when it was down at $12, $13, $11. That's when I was dollar cost averaging, when altcoins were down 80+%. So I don't really plan on buying more Chainlink until we revisit somewhere near those levels, around that $15 to $16 mark, right, around that area. That's just me personally. Now, if you can get Chainlink under 20, that's fantastic, right? Coming down here to this yearly pivot, yearly VWAP around 18, that's great too. I just don't really have a big goal to add more Chainlink right now, just because I did a lot of heavy buying back in Q1 or in beginning of Q2 in 2025. So everyone's situations are just different, but that's my personal opinion. So when is alt season if we don't get a cut? Guys, whether we get a cut or not, I do believe that overall we are going to have, that's not what I was expecting. We are going to have a pretty good Q4 of this year. I still believe we're going to have a very good Q4 of this year. Give me a second here. My camera just froze. Sorry about that, guys. Let me give me a quick little second here. There we go. Perfect. The only things we need for an altcoin season is very simple. All we need for an altcoin season is Bitcoin to hit new all-time highs, which I definitely think Bitcoin's going to hit a new all-time high before the end of this year. Bitcoin to range above those all-time highs and go sideways at that point in time, just how it's been doing in the last 2 months. Bitcoin broke above 109 and ranged between 112 to 120, making a new all-time high. Then it went to 123, still ranging. Now it's a little bit of a downtrend, but overall ranging at some new highs. So above 123, 124, whatever the all-time high is right now, ranging above that. Right, Bitcoin breaks above it, ranges above it, and then Bitcoin dominance drops. Bitcoin dominance dropping allows altcoins to run. Bitcoin dominance is still the lowest it's been in a very long time. Bitcoin dominance right now is at 59.45%, guys. I want you guys to realize that literally just a little while ago, a week ago, the high was 60%. The high was 60%. And if that's not, if that doesn't sound crazy, it really is. Big percents have been dropping. But if you look at here, right, literally just a few weeks ago, at the beginning of July, the ending of June, it's been actually a little bit longer than expected. At the ending of June, beginning of July, Bitcoin's dominance was up at 65%. We have dropped over 5% in dominance, which might not seem significant, but it is massive, because what have the altcoins been doing since then? They've been rallying, they've been pumping, they've been making some new local highs, some of them, right? XRP included, AERO over $1, reaching $1.30, $1.40. Massive new, little local high here. Hasn't made an all-time high yet again, but overall a very nice high. Jeez, got a runny nose now. Give me a second here, guys. All right, enough of that. Good to see everybody here. Good to see all of you guys smashing those likes. Do you think quarter one of 2026 is a hold or sell? Quarter one of 2026 is definitely a looking to sell, right? If depending what your positions look like, depending when you get into your altcoins, it's definitely going to be the look for the potential sell area, looking to get out of positions, to potentially start dollar cost averaging out of your position if you haven't already started by the end of quarter four. That's definitely what I'm going to be looking for quarter one. It's not going to be the hold forever, because at some point or another, there will be another bear market. Let me continue here in the chat, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Appreciate everybody tapping those likes, hitting that subscribe. Let's see here. Appreciate everybody tapping those likes. We crashing tomorrow? Possibly, maybe, but a lot of people are expecting that at the same time, so it's making me a little worrisome. So many people are expecting a crash tomorrow that we might not crash. It gives a lot of opportunity for people to jump into shorts, But at the end of the day, the trend is your friend, and our trend has been to the downside. We have continued to push lower and lower, continuing to make lower highs, and meanwhile we continue to make lower highs. We have to ride that trend. So I am going to be looking for any potential fake out breakout to the upside tomorrow, and I'm going to be trying to shorting it. I'm going to try to short it. It's going to be a little difficult for me. I got some family stuff to do, so I'm not going to be in the Crypto Citadel, but everybody in the Crypto Citadel is already warned and told about. We have a live session Monday through Thursday every morning for at least 1 hour where we catch some live trades. And if we don't, we just game plan. And the game plan for tomorrow is exactly that. Look for any fake out breakouts like we did today, right? Bitcoin had a little fake out breakout out of its downtrend, and look for one of those local highs and jump into a low leverage short, right? You don't want to jump into a too high leverage short. You don't want to be jumping into a 40, 50x short, as things could whiplash back and forth quite a bit, quite aggressively, as the speech and whatever is going on. Are you keeping Bitcoin after selling your altcoins? Of course. The name of the game in crypto, everyone that has talked smack about Bitcoin, right? Some of the biggest Bitcoin haters from 2021 that are huge TikTok content creators. I'm not going to drop any names, but I'm sure if you guys have been around, you guys know who they are. They have all changed their tune on Bitcoin. They have all realized that at the end of the day, the one that paves the way is Bitcoin. It's not XRP. It's not Ethereum. It's not any other Fugazi meme coin, right? Meme coins come and go. Render, Wildcoin, WorldCoin, freaking Sonic, Caspa, Arbitrum, all this stuff. All of those, ICP, whatever, they all come and go. But the only one that stays is Bitcoin. And obviously Ethereum has stayed a very long time. Obviously it's not a blank statement, right? There's a lot of altcoins that will remain, but the end of the day is the one that runs the market is Bitcoin, and that's not going to change anytime soon. And the name of the game in crypto if you want to be in crypto long term, meaning 5, 10 plus years, right? If you plan on using Bitcoin and crypto as your retirement plan, like people are setting it up into their 401ks and making IRAs and all this stuff on Bitcoin and crypto, the game plan is Bitcoin. Accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. Buy some altcoins when the bear market is around, right? When things are down 80, 90%, you buy altcoins. You let them ride up, they pump, you sell them, and then when the market comes down and Bitcoin has a pullback, right, a significant pullback, are the dumps going to be as big as they were back in 2021 or back in 2017 where Bitcoin dropped 60, 80%? Probably not, right? With the institutional demand now, I don't think we're going to have such aggressive drops anymore. I think the maturity curve is finally catching up to us, and when you have a significant drop for Bitcoin, you accumulate more Bitcoin and you stack more Bitcoin and you hold on to that Bitcoin for the next 5, 10 years, right? By the end of 2030, the predictions are Bitcoin, $700 to $1 million. $700 to $1 million, very likely. Base case, $500K. My friends, you're telling me you don't want to hold some of that for your retirement, right? People put money into their 401ks for 20 to 40 years so that they can retire with $1 million. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset for the last decade. And you're not going to try to accumulate that? That's why they're trying to put it into all these 401ks. That's why they're trying to put it into all these investment strategies and all these hedge funds, because they can't compete. They know they're being outcompeted. They know they're being outpaced. And they know that if they don't start doing something about it, people are just gonna do it without them. Why am I gonna go pay for a financial advisor to charge me all these fees to manage my money? And every time I ask them about crypto or Bitcoin, the best performing asset, they're telling me, no, that's too risky. No, that's not a good investment. Not a good investment, bro. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's literally been outperforming everything. The stock market is hoping for an 8% return. That's a good trader. That's a good investment year. You make 8% on your money. Bitcoin is blowing that out of the water continuously over and over and over. Even on this slow year, 84%. Bitcoin was at $53,000 on September 6th of 2024. $53,000. It is currently up. Went up as high as 122,000, and now we are up 84% this year alone. 84% this year alone. How can you say no to that? How can you say no to that? Let me jump back here into the chat. When do you think alts peak? I predict mid to end of Q4. Yeah, Q4 is definitely going to be a big indicator. There is a possibility that we continue running into 2026. That's yet to be foreseen, right? That is just just an idea in my head that I'm saying, hey, everybody is very, very focused on just like the 4-year cycle. And everybody's like, this is it. The end is exactly here at this exact date on this exact month. This is the 4-year cycle. And I really think that's going to throw people out of a loop. And everybody's going to be thinking bear market. And yes, we might have a little bit of a retracement here and there, but I think there might be some more bullish momentum in 2026 than people expect. So that's, but we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, if Bitcoin hits 150 plus by the end of the year and Ethereum is anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000, you already know I am taking profits. I am taking profits, and see you later, alligator. For how long though? Nothing stays on top forever. Okay, nothing stays on top forever. But in the meantime, like we said earlier, the trend is your friend. And the trend is that Bitcoin has been the best performing asset for the last decade. And what has happened in the last year? Institutional demand. Institutional demand for the first time in Bitcoin's history. It's been the best performing asset without institutional demand. Think about that. Without institutional demand, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset. In 2024, we've got the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETFs. We're going to get more ETFs, I'm pretty sure, later this year, some point in 2026. Bringing more altcoins into the ETFs. Hedge funds want Bitcoin. 401ks want Bitcoin. State state departments, right? Different states are literally putting Bitcoin reserves, and they're buying Bitcoin for their treasuries. Companies, right? Companies in the S&P 500 are buying Bitcoin. They're raising money, just like MicroStrategy, to build a Bitcoin treasury. They're becoming Bitcoin treasury companies, and their whole thing is behind the treasury of Bitcoin to accumulate as much as possible, to raise money and buy Bitcoin. And within 6 to 12 months that they buy, they're in the profit, and their margins are going up, and their stock price is going up, and they're gaining more value. They're getting more capital that then they can borrow against that Bitcoin, because now banks can work with Bitcoin. Banks can now start borrowing and lending against Bitcoin. They haven't started yet, but they will. And these companies, these Bitcoin treasury companies, are going to be borrowing against the Bitcoin to buy more Bitcoin. It is just wild. It's just wild what's happening. I can smell the dump. It's a minute away. Well, if it's a minute away, you better open that short up right now, baby. Just 100x short that mother right now, bro. 100x short that one right now. Poor man's Bitcoin, ETH, Link, Sol, Sui, and Tau. I can agree with that. The poor man's Bitcoin, definitely Ethereum, definitely Link. Solana is making a name for itself this year. Before this year, Solana has been a big nothing burger, and I'll probably continue being a big nothing burger until they can start becoming something more than meme coins, right? Meme coins is a big thing in crypto now, which has kept Solana afloat, but Solana needs to move beyond and evolve beyond the meme coin cycle, the meme coin frenzy. Sui, yeah, definitely making its name for itself. BitTensor Tau, definitely one of the best AI coins out there. Very, very bullish on that as well. You see ETH, Link, and XRP Ripple have a lot of use case. It's not just coins now. This is crazy. They never were just coins. There was always use cases. That's why Ethereum was created. Smart contract platform, right? Chainlink being an oracle, being able to connect to real world companies, real world data, bring that data on chain, and allow these companies to interact with the blockchain and vice versa, allowing all this communication to happen. Yeah. What's the dump about? What dump? You're talking about the pullback that we've been having? Well, Bitcoin made a high at 124.5 and has been making lower highs since then, retracing back to the August lows. Here, we're currently almost at the August low of 111.853 or 842. So Solana is more or less bot managed. Yeah, it's all very meme coin bots, right? People are in the trenches buying and selling meme coins every single day. Buying and selling meme coins every single day with their Solana, which is what's kept Solana's price propped up. But Solana needs to evolve past that. If it doesn't, at some point, the meme coin trenches are going to go away. Do you think with all the mass adoption that will have an effect on the cycle trend coming up in 2026? Exactly. That's a great question, right? That's exactly what I was alluding to. With everybody thinking that the 4-year cycle is still exactly how it's always been, it's very different now that institutions are in, right? The fact that institutions are in now and they're buying Bitcoin. We've seen the buying of Bitcoin, the buying of Ethereum, right? Ethereum has been outpacing Bitcoin on inflows in the ETF for weeks now. We have companies now creating Ethereum treasuries, copying the same blueprint as Bitcoin treasuries. So the demand is here. The demand is definitely happening. And this demand, right, with all the crypto regulation that's been kicking in, right, is allowing companies in traditional finance to really start diving deep into these assets. And guys, a $2 trillion asset is still nothing. Still nothing for them. That's baby stuff. That's still baby food. They're going to eat that up, right? And they're going to pump it. They're going to buy as much as they possibly can. So with the adoption happening on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on the institutional demand, on the fact that there's countries talking about Bitcoin, there's multi-billion-dollar companies all buying Bitcoin and putting them into treasuries. The level of demand is shifting, is skewing this 4-year cycle that people are so programmed to always think about that. Hey, after this certain amount of time, Bitcoin is gonna dump, and it's all over, and it's a bear market for the next year and a half and it's gonna drop 60 to 80%, and then then the bull market comes back when the next halving in 2028. That's gonna change. That can't stay the same. The traditional markets are not going to allow this continuous rinse and repeat of the same cycle. They're going to change it up on us. The demand is very different now than what it was the last 8 years. Very, very different. Big money's coming in. Smart money's coming in. The drops are not going to be as heavy, and the bear markets are not going to be as long as people expect them to be. Can we have bear markets for a couple of months, for maybe half a year, a little bit more? Maybe, but this year-long plus bear market status, I don't think that's going to be a thing anymore. I don't think it's going to be a thing. You could technically say that we had a bear market in Q1 of this year. Altcoins were down 80+%, 80 to 90% in Q1. Bitcoin dropped like 36% from 109 down to like 76,000. That was bear market status. If the level of fear, the level of neglect of just like, I don't want to deal with this market anymore, I don't want to be here, it was crickets, nobody was around, that was bear market status. And look at us now. Look at us now, literally 8 months late, 6 months later. 6 months later after Q1. All-time high. All-time high last week. All-time high. Appreciate everybody smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe, guys. If you haven't already joined the Crypto Citadel, my private trading community, right? Definitely do so. This is the last month to get 50% off, where you get daily trade signals, daily live trading sessions, daily trade setups, macro long-term analysis. You get my 1-hour trading course, and you get, what was the last thing? Macro analysis, 1-hour trading course, and there was one other thing that I always, my exclusive indicators. You can only get that at the Crypto Citadel. Definitely do so. Join. Go ahead. It's the last month to try it out and get it your first month 50% off, guys. So take advantage of that right now before this month ends, because then you won't get it. Oh god, here comes the existential. Cryptos are speculative and are inherently volatile. Okay, what's wrong? What's wrong with it being speculative and inherently volatile? Why do you want a stock that doesn't move? Why do you want a stock that doesn't move? Tell me, who here is going to become a millionaire from stocks? Nobody. With the world that the way the world is set up, the way the economies have been and will continue to happen, with the levels of inflation and the level of job salaries going lower as cost of living continues to rise, who is going to be able to retire with $1 million in their bank account? Nobody. Millennials can't afford to buy houses. They have to be renting. Their rent is half of their salary, of their monthly salary, plus food cost, plus all of life expenses. People are living paycheck to paycheck. People are completely broke. And guess what? In Bitcoin, in crypto, it outperforms the S&P 500. It outperforms your 401k, right? My dad, perfect example. My dad, his 401k was crashing during the fog around the world. You guys know what event that was back in 2020. Was crashing. It was like, I don't know, I'm going to get a hypothetical number. It was like $40,000, right? It was like $40,000. Guess what? They gave him the opportunity to take it out penalty free. And I told him, take it out, buy some Bitcoin. Bitcoin was down at like $3,000 to $5,000 back in 2020. Ethereum was like $100 to $200 at most. I told them, spend half of it on buying real estate, spend the other half on buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's all you need to do. You're going to be set for life. Did not listen to me. I'm pretty sure he might be listening to you. And what did he do? He didn't do it. Guess where his 401k is at today? 40. It was at 40. It's like a 60K. It's like a 60K. It made 20K in 5 years. How much money would he have made if he would have bought himself with that 40K, right? Cut that in half, only $20,000 into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So 10K into Bitcoin, 10K into Ethereum, with Bitcoin being, let's say, at 5,000 on the upper range, at 5,000, and Ethereum being at 200 on the upper range back in 2020. Let me tell you, he'd probably be almost retired right now. And he's not. So let's get out of here with the, oh, it's volatile and it's speculative. Everything is volatile. Everything contains risk. Real estate is volatile. Everything is volatile, bro. So if you can't handle the volatility, don't be an investor. I'm not a fan of XRP, but do you think they are using a private ledger for bank with higher XRP price compared to the public ledger of $2 and some change? How would that benefit? What would be the benefit of them doing that? I mean, is it possible or not? I don't know. I don't know the complete ins and outs of XRP. Yes, XRP has a supposedly private ledger that they can use. But if the private ledger is more expensive, how does that benefit you as an XRP holder? There's the same thing in the stock market. Yeah, the stock market is volatile too. What happened when the fog around the world happened? It dumped. It crashed on everybody, right? So how do I join? If you want to join the Crypto Citadel, there's a link in my bio. There's a link in my description of my video, depending where you're watching. On my profile, go to it. You'll see it. You'll be able to sign up. If you have any issues or any questions about it, you can always just send me a DM. Make sure you're following me. Send me a DM. My DMs are always open. I will never DM you first, but if you DM me, I will reply to you. I'm new here. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate it, brother. Crypto is the sports version of finance. Maybe that's what finance needs, right? Because finance has been gatekept from the regular person, from the average Joe, right? Who here has come around and grew up, right? Not the most people, grown up in financial literacy. Absolutely nobody, right? When I graduated college, I didn't know a lick about financial literacy, right? I come from a regular middle class, lower middle class home, right? Like depending where you're at, right? Middle class. Let's just call it that. Let's just call it middle class. Middle class with all you do is you get a degree, you get a job, you work 9 to 5, you pay your bills, and then that's it. That's your life from day one to the day you clock out. But guess what? Crypto and financial literacy, which what crypto has given people the gateway, crypto has made investing a social topic to talk about, right? It is becoming a social phenomenon. It's on TV shows. You watch shows and they're mentioning crypto. Oh yeah, I was investing in this. Oh yeah, I was investing in that. You go out to parties and people are talking about crypto. Unfortunately, a lot of it is stuck with meme coins, but nonetheless, investing, right? The gambling on meme coins, the only good thing about it is that it could lead you into the gateway of actual investing once you move away from the very high risk stuff and you look into the lower risk, higher potential stuff in crypto like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So yeah, it's definitely been a huge what's the deal with Epic Chain? Is it worth a bag? What's your expected price target that's born on? Guys, I don't know anything about Epic Chain. The only thing I know is that there's been a bunch of influencers talking about it. I'm pretty sure it's a marketing campaign of some kind. Not putting any shade on that. I'm just saying the reason why it's being talked about so much is because it's being a marketing campaign. So just take that with a grain of salt, right? If Epic Chain is being talked about all the time, I don't know anything about it. I know it's something, the rumor is that it is tokenizing some real estate or something on the XRP ledger, yada, yada. But it's a bunch of influencers are being paid to talk about it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That is a perfectly normal, meanwhile they're being completely transparent about it. That it's okay to be, as an influencer, to be paid to talk about something. Meanwhile, people are 100% transparent, right? So, but I don't know anything about it outside of that. Appreciate everybody smashing those likes. Appreciate everybody hitting the subscribe. Your dollar has lost 46% in the last 25 years. Yes, guys, the dollar is fugazi. The dollar is fugazi, guys. The dollar doesn't do anything. It used to be money back in 1971 when it actually was backed by by gold, right? When the gold reserves actually meant something. But after Nixon took us off the gold standard, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just fugazi, and people have this mentality. I was literally at a birthday party on Sunday trying to explain Bitcoin to somebody, to an older gentleman and an older woman, right? And they're like, but it's not tangible. I can't trust it because it's not tangible. I'm like, dude, your dollars aren't tangible. Your dollars are being sent on Zelle. The grand majority of money is all digital already. People use credit cards for everything. You never use real money. People don't walk around with cash. Very few people walk around with cash. And guess what, guys? Guess what? In case you didn't know, when the fog around the world happened back in 2020, between 2020 and 2023, 80%. 80, or at least very close to 80% of all the US dollars that are circulating around this entire world were printed in the last 5 years. In the last 5 years, guys. That's the currency, that's the fiat, that's the investment that you want to hold, the one that got printed 80% of in the last 3-5 years. That's what you want to be holding on to? That's what you want to be holding on to. Think about that for a second, guys. Think about that. Let that sink in. Don't believe me just because I said it. Go online. Do your research. Google that thing. Google how much US dollars were printed in total circulation in the last 5 years. Google it. Ask ChatGPT, Grok, one of these AIs. Ask somebody. And I'm telling you, you're going to be astounded. You're going to be mind blown when you see that. So that's why I created the Crypto Citadel, guys. I got into the Crypto Citadel. I created the Crypto Citadel, right? I moved away from the 9 to 5 to be full-time crypto, to become a trader, to not just diamond hand everything forever. I know a lot of people are just like diamond hands, diamond hands. Yeah, that's cool. But that's all it is. It's cool, but it sucks. It sucks, right? Because you can grow massive portfolios and you hold that thing all the way back down to zero. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. You need to sell. You need to know how to take profits. You need to know how to manage your risk. You need to know how to hold on to something. Even if you're not a futures trader, even though you're just holding spot, you're still a trader, because at some point you have an entry and at some other point you're going to have an exit. That is a trade. That is a trade. So by definition, even long-term holders, long-term investors, oh, I'm not a trader, I'm just a long-term holder. You are a trader, bro. You're just not playing with leverage, which is totally fine. It's perfectly fine. It's the least riskiest version of trading. It is the way that allows you to dollar cost average, to not get liquidated, to not get stopped out of your trade, and it gives you the opportunity to catch a move, to catch a pump, and then sell. So even for the people that are just long-term holders, that are not active day traders or scalpers or leverage traders or futures traders or options traders, you are still a trader. So therefore, you still should know what the chart is saying for the assets that you're holding, for the long term, for the macro, for the monthly, the quarterly, the yearly, the weekly, right? The daily. Are we getting close to a top here? Are we not? Is this a high risk moment? Is this a moment to potentially strategically dollar cost average? Or is this a moment to not dollar cost average, because we're most likely going to continue dropping lower? You don't want to buy every single dip. You just want to buy the dip, right? You want to buy the real dip. You want to buy that low as close as possible to that low. You don't want to buy every single dip on the way down, because you're going to run out of money. You're going to run out of capital. And that's what the Crypto Citadel does best. It allows you to manage those situations, manage those moments. And if you want to actively be a day trader, you can learn. You can learn from my trading course. You can learn from being in there, actively asking questions every single day in the exclusive live sessions that we do, where we look at the market, we take trades together as a group, right? We analyze what's happening, we take trades, and you can follow along and you can start catching on why am I longing? Why am I shorting? Why am I exiting here? Oh man, you could have just, ran that thing for a 100% long. No, I'm good with 20-25%. I'm good with $200-300 every single day. I'm good with 50, 100. I'm good. I'm making money. Meanwhile, I'm making money and not losing money. That's the name of the game, right? Now, does that mean that you're never going to lose? No. There will be days where you lose. There will be weeks that might be negative. But guess what? It's in the long term. In the long term, we are in the green, right? Month of June, We closed out 3,600, 3,700 in profit. Month of July closed out my most profitable month, $6,800 in profit. So far this month right now, we're up like 28 to about 3K. It's been one of the hardest months to trade right now, especially this last week and a half. A lot of volatility, very fake moves. It's been a little difficult. We've been very conservative on taking trades, and we've lost some trades, but still up over $2,000 for the month. So even though I might have a negative week, I might have a negative day, the end of the day, the month is still what matters, and the month is still positive. So that's what really matters. Right? I can close out the month positive 1,000. I'm still happy. I made $1,000 this whole month trading. Right? I made $1,000 trading. It's in the green. You're making money. So if you guys are interested in that, if you guys want to be a part of that, this is your last chance to be getting it this month, 50% off your first month. So to check it out, make sure you go over to my profiles, to my descriptions, to my bios, whatever it is. And if you have any questions, you can always just send me a DM. Let's get back into the chat here. Yes, and people throwing their money in a 401k have no idea how it works. Exactly, Nicole. Great statement. People talk about how speculative crypto is and how speculative Bitcoin is. Oh, it's not real. Oh, I can't touch it. Guys, you can't touch your money in your 401k. It's stuck in there for 20 to 40 years. It's illiquid. And if you try taking it out, they hit you with massive penalties. And they don't even know what they're buying in that 401k. They don't know what the heck is being held in there. Maybe they would have done a whole lot better job investing on their own if they would have put some thought into it, right? And started to learn how money works. But guess what? They're paying a bunch of management fees for a bunch of assets they don't know, and they're just hoping. They're just told, if you buy a 401k and you max it out for the next 40 years, you're going to retire with $1 million. Guess what, guys? That $1 million cost you your entire life. I wouldn't give up my whole life for $1 million. You don't make 1K, you made 700 after taxes. Guys, there's always taxes. There's always taxes. And if you're smart, you know how to get around taxes. Not get around, you know how to minimize taxes. Let me correct myself. You know how to minimize taxes. That's why I work with Decrypt Tax, and I have my own company, and my own company has expenses to be able to run. And being able to run your own company minimizes your tax liability. So you guys can know how to use the tax code for your advantage and how to minimize your taxes. So don't be afraid to be a trader because, oh, you're going to get hit with taxes. Guys, it's really weird how people are so afraid of taxes. But once you start learning how it works and you start doing taxes for a while, right, running your own business, you're like, wait a minute, I can do what? I can do this. I can do that. I owe how much? Trust me. Trust me. Look it up, my friends. Does it look like we're dipping into the weekend? We possibly could. Tomorrow's going to be the big day for sure. We're definitely in a downtrend, guys. If you look here on the 4 hour, it's very clear, very straightforward. We are in a major downtrend since we topped out in August 14th at 124,500. We've created a massive downtrend for the previous week. And we have been doing nothing but making a high, lower high, lower high, another lower high on the 19th, another lower high today. And guess what? We'll probably have a little bit of a rally tonight during the Asia-London session, maybe into the morning of New York session tomorrow, back around the 114. And then guess what? We're going to potentially continue this downtrend to the downside. Between 111 to 18 is the target to the downside so far. When you take profits, do you put into stablecoin or just cash out? When I take profit, I put into stablecoins. I have run 2 different portfolios, right? And this is the key of learning how to be a trader and how to manage your money and just be a better investor overall. You have 2 portfolios. Your main portfolio is your spot long-term holds, right? Where you're just dollar cost averaging into, where you are buying on spot. No leverage, no stop losses, no liquidation points. Then you have your trading portfolio. You trade, you make money, you trade, and you make stable coins, right? That's where you're getting paid out in. You're getting paid out in stable coins. You use those profits for when the big dip happens you go and you dollar cost average into your portfolio, into your long-term portfolio. This portfolio continues to grow, 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 grow. At some point in the spot portfolio, we're going to take profits. We're going to dollar cost average out. We're going to sell. We're going to take profits, and we're going to put that back into stable coins. We're going to keep it in stable coins. Some of it can get cashed out straight into cash. The grand majority of the rest should probably be left in stable coins. You do your taxes. You pay what you got to pay. And guess what? You wait for the next big bear market, right? You wait for the next big dip in the market, and then you use those stable coins that you've been holding there to buy in and rebuild your spot long-term portfolio. You rebuild it during the bear market, and then you ride that bad boy up again. And in the meantime that you're doing all this, you're still trading. You're still trading, still trying to generate more cash. That's your cash flow right there, is the trading. The trading is the cash flow, continuing to bring cash back into your long-term portfolio. Do you pay for taxes up front or wait until the end of the year? I'd suggest you consult with your tax person. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not going to be talking to you guys about what you should or shouldn't be doing with your taxes. If you have tax questions, go check out Decrypt Tax. That's the company I use to do my crypto taxes. Definitely go consult with them. Let's see here. What about $1 million in Bitcoin? What about it? You mean the price? Bitcoin hitting $1 million? Yeah, by 2030, we are definitely going to be hitting $1 million. Let's see here. I have a friend that is 33 years old that works for a 22-year-old that made $100 million through meme coins. Yeah, guys, meme coins can definitely make you a lot of money in a short period of time, but the grand majority of people lose money. Over 90% of people lose money on meme coins. Very few people are exceptions. They're either very, very lucky, they hit that lottery ticket, or there's some type of insider, there's some type of person that pulls rugs and scams on other people, right? I've seen a lot of that. A lot of insider stuff, people making their own meme coins. Anybody can make a meme coin nowadays. It's not like how it was back in 2020, where it was very difficult. Nobody knew how to make a cryptocurrency, and only very few people knew how to make meme coins. They weren't often, and they didn't and they lasted long periods of time. Now there's meme coins being generated, thousands of them every minute. So tons of insider trading, tons of fugazi happening. So be careful with that. Do you mess with Pengu? Yeah, we definitely track Pengu in the Crypto Citadel. We keep tabs on it. We take trades on it sometimes, especially low leverage stuff, right? 3, 5x, maybe a little 7x or here and there. Pengu likes to move pretty well. It's been making some nice little lows here. We are taking a look at Pengu. I trade the larger meme coins for sure, not the the trenches kind of stuff. A lot of traders in CT believe September will be bearish. As a result, I believe we are front. I mean, the reason why they're saying that, right, is because historically September is a bearish month. So if you're on TikTok, you might not be able to see this, but on the other pages, on the other social medias, you will, right? So August, if you see here from 2013 to 2025, August has only been green 4 times. Since 2013 to 2025, right, in the last 12 years, Bitcoin has only been green 4 out of those 12. So 8 out of 12 have been red. September, very similar. All red in the last 11 years here. We don't have the September yet for 2025, so I can't say 12. But for the last 11 historical years, we have had 4 green Septembers. Everything else is in the red. And the green days that we've had in September, the highest was last year at 7%. Before that, 6% back in 2016 was the most green we have ever seen in September. Everything else is very low green or completely in the red. So September and August are both very bearish months for Bitcoin historically. October, though, on the other hand, is extremely bullish for Bitcoin. As you can see here, from 2013 all the way through 2024, we've only had 2 red Octobers. Only 2 red Octobers. One in 2018, a well-established bear market, and back in 2014. Every other October was green, and pretty green, like a nice green, like 10+% green. We're talking about an average of 21% returns on an October, right? So that's why I'm saying, and that's probably why a lot of people are thinking bearish August, right? We're closing a bearish August here, bearish September potentially. And just because it's bearish, even if we close red in September, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't pump from where we are right now back to 119 or 120 and then dump again throughout September and still close out September in the red, right? That doesn't mean that we can't have pumps and big range volumes like that happening between now and then. It doesn't mean that we're just going to drop. We can still pump from 112 back to 119, 120, 122, whatever it is, and then have another major drop in September and still close out 5% in the red, 2% in the red for September and still have major moves to the upside. So don't be discouraged. Don't think that we just won't pump back up just because we're thinking about a red September. How much are monthly payments after the first payment? Pablo, that's a great question for the Crypto Citadel, but I can't answer those questions live. So make sure you DM me those questions, not because I don't want to say it, but because I've gotten in trouble in the past. But definitely it's very affordable for everything that you're getting. Daily trade signals, right? Daily trade setups, macro long-term setups, daily live sessions for at least an hour, Monday through Thursday, the 1 hour trading course, and the exclusive trading indicators, all for a very, very low number. Which if you can't afford, you can't afford. It's okay, right? It's not for everyone, but if you can't afford it, you realistically can't afford to be an investor. That's just the real. Like if you can't afford it, it's because you don't have the enough cash flow to be an active investor, an active trader. Trading is not for you, and you're not ready for it because you're financially too much in debt, or you have an income problem. You're not making enough money coming in to be able to sustain it, right? And because it takes money to make money, and that's just the way the game works. So, but if you have more questions, definitely just send me a DM. I'm more than happy to answer all your questions and help you through it. What would you say altcoins are at a low price right now? No, I wouldn't say that. The month just started to turn a little red here. On some altcoins, down 15, 20%, right? But just a week or two ago, on the 14th, right? 6 days ago or whatever it was, literally altcoins were up 100+%. A lot of altcoins on the month were up 60, 70, 80, 100%. Just recently, things started to pull back a little bit. So, no, altcoins I would not say are at a low. I would say they can definitely drop some more. Appreciate Cuban Diesel with the crab. Clap. Thank you so much for everybody smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe, guys. I really appreciate everybody hanging out. Make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel if you haven't already. Thoughts on BitTensor Tau and DOT. Super bullish on BitTensor Tau. I've been buying Tau in the Crypto Citadel since like $250 to $188 was the last range that I was buying at. Don't plan on buying until we revisit that range, which is possible if we have a significant dip here. That was back in April, March time. So very bullish, one of the most bullish AI coins in my portfolio. And I'm definitely very, very bullish on that. DOT, not so bullish, very crab-like, very just like legacy. It tried to do its thing, but it literally just can't go anywhere. It's still down 18% on the year. Like it just really can't really pump. Is it going to have some type of little rally here and there when we have a big altcoin season? Absolutely. But I hold DOT, but I just hold it because I've been holding it for a very long time, and I'm just waiting to sell it in the next biggest pump that we get. But I'm not actively adding any DOT to my portfolio, nor am I looking forward to buying any more DOT, let me tell you. So, guys, I appreciate everybody jumping in here. I appreciate all the questions. Make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel. This is your last month to get 50% off on your first month to try it out. If you don't like it, you can get out and leave at any moment in time. But I'm pretty sure if you jump in, if you're dedicated, if you want to put in hard work, if you want to learn, if you want to change your life, right? If you want to take trading seriously, right? If you want to do all those things, then it will be more than worth it for you. But if it's not, if you're not there, if you're not ready, it's not going to be worth it for you. A lot of people want to make a lot of money A lot of money. They want to be trading from the beach, right? Looking at their laptop, making money from their laptop at the beach while sipping on Mai Tais. But guess what, guys? That takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of dedication. That takes a lot of discipline to get to that skill level so you can able to do that. Trading, for me, that's my goal, right? To be doing that. I don't plan on doing the Crypto Citadel forever, right? I'm trying to help as many people as I can, teach them what I know, help them make some trades, but I don't want to be doing this forever. I don't want to be working forever. So I have an exit plan. I hope you guys are building out your strategies on how to exit the matrix, right? I believe trading could lead to the exit of the matrix. It's you run your own business on your time. You trade as much as you want or as little as you want. Meanwhile, you're profitable and you're covering your expenses and you're covering your lifestyle. You are good to go. And you're free. You have no 9-to-5 boss. You have no 9-to-5 stress. You can be anywhere in the world at any moment in time, trading at any moment in time. You don't need to be reporting into anybody. It leads to massive, I believe, massive financial freedom and just travel, just freedom of everything. You're never stuck in one place forever because you have a 9-to-5 there or anything like that. So that's what trading is for me. That's why I take it seriously. That's why I've been focusing on it. That's why I want to help people get to. So if you guys want to join the Crypto Citadel, definitely do so. This is your last month to get 50% off. And then that's it. And then it's going to be full price for a very, very long time until if I get another idea of doing another discount. But I've been doing this discount for months now. And if you haven't taken advantage of it, you're not going to see it for months again. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Appreciate everybody smashing those likes, guys. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading to these blockchains, and I'll see you guys in the Crypto Citadel. See ya.